Hey, what's going on YouTube? Find some green here. I know usually most of the videos that we put out are either ways to make stubs or ways to make coins for college football and soon to do Madden, but I wanted to put together a series called Losing My Sanity. Uh, I've been playing this game for quite a couple years. I have never made it to World Series. I usually make it into the 800s and then I either lose or I run out of time or potentially run out of interest, which I know doesn't make a lot of sense, but the game's always very touch and go. I want to try to actually make a World Series run. And I thought it'd be a cool way to do it, put it on video. And I'm not sure how exactly we're going to do the audio, but we're going to figure it out. So these are the first 4 games of the run. The season's almost over, but I figured it'd be a good way to get started before the new season comes out on Friday. Most of my opponents, I appreciate them hanging in for as long as they do. Their records aren't the best as you're going to see. Um, but that's no disrespect to them. I'm down in the 400s and it's late in the season. Now I am not by any means a self-proclaimed good hitter. I'm average at best. I usually get by with pitching, and as you'll see, most of the pitches that I throw as we work through the tunnels, uh, they tend to generate some swings. Now, as we get higher up in the ranks, I don't know how well it's going to progress, but typically we do okay. Um, so for this whole set of videos, there's 4 gameplays total. I'll let the pitching run, and then you'll just see the what should be the important at bats one way or the other. Now, in terms of pitching, I'm using Lance McCullers. I'm not using any of the higher rated pitchers. We're running with the Clayton Kershaw boost, which McCullers qualifies for because he bats left-handed. So I'm just feeling this guy out. His first batting average wasn't very high. His batting average with Quan wasn't bad, and Ellie's not terrible. He doesn't seem like he's going to go after the high stuff, but he went after the cutter and he went after the circle change, and I'm going to try to hit him with a curveball, which he swings and misses. Now, I was a little skeptical going up against Kerry Wood for the first game because of the fact that I hadn't picked up the sticks in probably about a week and a half. I'd been playing college football. And you'll see over the first two games don't look terrible, and then the third game we actually get into it. I think it's the first time I went up facing that Jack Caglione card, but we'll get there. Um, he got me biting on that. I'm trying to make sure I'm geared up for his fastball. Like I said, it's been a bit. I want to make sure that I don't miss it. And as you can see, we don't. I'm a little bit early, but I get a nice roll by the computer. Instead of being a pop out, it goes to left center field. Now this at bat I think is funny, because obviously I've already seen this gameplay, but he's gonna burn this fastball right past me. And I guess he was trying to tunnel the fastball right here with uh with his curveball, and I completely saw it. Just Gonzo crushed. And to be honest, that's the end of game one. Game one, it's hard to get through the program that they have because the games don't last very long. They really don't. Um, like I said, it's down the early stages and the lower ranks, and I don't expect that they will if I'm hitting like that. But it would have been nice to go more than 1 inning. Now this game's fun because I don't typically hit Doc Holliday very well, although this guy's record again is not very good. But his ERA, if I remember, because I typically check these guys before it starts, his ERA with him is, I think it was under 3. But we're gonna start off trying to throw the sinker high and outside, and Suarez totally missed because my PCI, or not my PCI, my pinpoint wasn't great, but he missed it anyway. And this guy just likes to swing. As you can see, his batting average is under 200. Um, but as we go through, there are some pitches that he's going to lay off, which I went up using to my advantage. So we've gone sinker outside, slider in, and then high fastball. So now we're going to try to hit him with a changeup, and he takes that one too. He quickly developed an eye concerning the first or the second pitch that he swung at, but then we go cutter in, and we rip him up. First pitch slider probably wasn't the best idea. I know he's seen the sinker. I'm going to try to hit him with the fastball, considering that Suarez has his outlier. He didn't crack 102, but that's okay. So now we're going to change it up. And I do get him to swing at that because he figured it was going to be a fastball again. And now we're going to try that slider one more time. But I can't, for some reason, get his pinpoint to work. And he winds up fouling that off. Probably, one, because his timing was good, and two, because my pinpoint was ass. Again, he doesn't touch the changeup. I can't get him to swing at that yet, but I'm going to try to bust him with a fastball inside. And he just looks at it, figuring after that cutter from the previous at bat and the sliders that I've thrown that I might have tried to break one off on him again. But as we said, his batting averages are not very good. But we've gone cutter. We're going to try sinker. I don't hit either one of those pinpoints. Not looking great today. Suarez's delivery is a little fast, or a little faster than what I particularly like, depending. I can throw his fastball fine, but anything that requires a generous amount of stick movement can cause an issue. I see that he's starting to get a little antsy now because he's swinging at everything. And that was just luck. I don't know why he didn't swing at that, because that pitch was horrendous. Trying to remember what we do with Jeter here. I guess we're going to find out together. No, I get into him with Jeter, but unfortunately, I don't think. Yeah, we don't get enough of it. But it was still a pretty good smacked ball there. Made it all the way out to the warning track. It was just a little bit late and a little bit off the PCI, but it wasn't terrible. Pitch is just off the black. Technically catches the black. If they fix strike zones next year, I think a lot of us are going to be in trouble because we've gotten used to just taking pitches. That was a nice dot up in the zone. Um, but not what I'm looking for at the moment. He followed it up, and I think my timing is good. Yeah, my timing was good. My PCI was a little bit low, but that's okay. And then I think he's going to hit me with a curveball here. No, it was a splitter. I was early. Which good pitching by him. He's got me looking fastball and throwing slightly off speed, and obviously I'm ahead. Yeah, that's the curveball. See that one? That one needs to be deposited out in the outfield, in the over the wall in the outfield, because I shouldn't have missed that. I typically don't, um, but it might take an inning or two to get the timing. That speed on that curveball is a little different than Kerry's. Obviously, Kerry's I think was a 12.6, but it's in the 80s, whereas that was under 80 miles an hour. I got a little bit locked up there with that one. So I know he's gone two pitches low, but the last one was fast. So I'm expecting him to throw something on the off speed here. And he actually threw a sinker, but he threw it right down the dick. And yeah, I mean, Cattell's Cattell. I know he's got a cheesy swing. He's like a bailout swing, but that was a pretty damn good swing on a pretty easy pitch to hit. Um, yeah, I think that was intentional. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I could see if his pitch release was early or very late, but it was good. I'm gonna assume that he plunked Babe on purpose. Now Jorge, I just miss. It's good timing again. I'm just late. My PCI is just under, but that was a pretty solid inning against a guy that I don't typically hit well, because I sent two to the track, one of them up against the wall, and we put one into almost in the batter's eye in center field. No, no, right back to work again. My pinpoint's not perfect, but I'm being blessed with some decent RNG as to where they land. I'm trying to pitch Ranger for 2 innings, just because I'd rather not go to a starter based on the fact that the guy in the last game quit, and I'm already up on this guy. And like I said, his batting averages don't indicate that it's going to be a slugfest. So I'm trying to at least, you know, pitch Ranger to his absolute limit. And I get lucky enough that I don't quite know what he was looking for there, but we got it by him. And I don't know why he swung at that, but as you can see, that slider it's not a good pitch for me. And he bailed me out with that one too, which was nice. 3 times in a row. He's at this point he's just swinging for the sake of swinging, and well, there's but then he doesn't swing at pitches that he should. Like, I get taking pitches because I've been pitching to the black and I've been pitching outside the zone, and he's been swinging stuff that's outside the zone. So you decide to take the first pitch, but I don't know how he took that one. But then he swings at that. Well, that one, I guess, because it looks like the fastball. That's the whole beauty of that tunnel with the sinker and the fastball, is he's got a fast enough fastball that you can hit that tie outside, but then you can still come back with the sinker and have it run away. And then I like to do that, and then tunnel those with the circle change falling off down on the lower outside. And now he's gone. So we're rated 482 at this point. We're going back to ship it. I think that, yeah, we find a game pretty quick. It's amazing for as late in the season and as dead as the game's supposed to be, how many games you can pick up. This game's going to be, I think, a little bit longer. It's the first time I've seen this guy as a pitcher, and for whatever reason, I was having a problem picking him up. I think we've got Wheeler on the bump, and we're still. I don't use a hitter's boost right now because I haven't found one that I really want that matches well with Kershaw. If you guys have any specific captain boost that you're using where you can mix and match and it works out, then please, by all means, put it in the chat or the comment. I should say we're not live right now. You put it in the comment section. I'll gladly take a look at it, maybe give it a try. I was checking to see if he has outlier, which he doesn't. But yeah, here we go. So for this one, I think I'm going to keep it where you guys get to see either, yeah, you'll see full pitching moments, and then I think we're only doing specific, yeah, we're doing specific hitting moments as to what happens, one way or the other. Whether it's good, ugly, great, shitty, it'll be whatever it's going to be. You know, like I said, I am by no means a good hitter. I say that, and I was a little early, but that ball was completely squared up. Uh, you know, best I can do is hope to make good contact, and then if I get any of my base, you know, play fundamental baseball, and hopefully, again, make good contact with the ball. As you can see, we've got Cattell on second, and yeah, I'm swinging at a pitch that's below the zone. I mean, it was 1-2, and the cutter was darting away from me and out of the zone, but I probably should let that one go. Now, much like Suarez, you know, Wheeler's going to be pretty much the same plan. We're going to go sinker away and hopefully generate weak contact, whether they pop it up to left field or roll it over to second base. You know, we're going to pump the cutter inside. I'd rather it not be in the strike zone. More of a hopefully you swing and miss pitch that's just outside, or I, you know, jam you up and cut you off. The good news is, unlike Suarez, it seems like for the most part I am more on the pinpoint with this with Wheeler than I was with with Suarez. All right, so we know that he's hunting for something faster than the cutter. So we're going. I went cutter away first to test out where his bat's at. Then I went slurve to see if we couldn't expand the zone and see how much of a free swinger he is. Again, his batting average is in the low twos, so I'm expecting him to swing at more pitches than, say, somebody who's batting 350, and we get 3-pitch strikeout, which is nice. I would have preferred to not have Wheeler pitch here, but after the first two games and using a righty in the first game and a righty in the second game, I really didn't want to completely kill my bullpen, and I really don't like to waste the lefties. Oh, I guess technically speaking, we used Lance in the first game, but that's because of the fact that I'm running Kershaw right now. I don't have a lot of righty bullpen arms, and one of them is Kirby Yates. And while Kirby Yates is pitching great in real life, if anybody's seen his All-Star card, it doesn't look great. So now I don't understand how that's only good contact. It's on the lower half of the PCI, but still middle. It's the lower middle of the PCI, if that makes sense. If you look real quick, and it's good timing, but they gave us okay contact. And I don't know if it's because he needs like bad ball hitter because it's outside of the strike zone, or what. I just missed that with Soto. Like I think my timing was good. Timing was good, but I was just a tick below. Yeah, I was just below. So Hank Thompson is fantastic. I say that and I'm about to ground into double play, but if you didn't see before that, I'm hitting 611 with him online. Uh the shortstop just glitched out. This guy's internet connection didn't seem like it was very good as we were going through. And we've already started with the bunt dancing because that's what's going to help the batting average there. It's definitely going to be it. But he held up on that one. I'm still feeling pretty confident. He's given me no indication whatsoever that we're going to have any type of real issue here. And I know I went back inside with the sinker. I don't typically like to double up on pitches or throw the same pitch more than twice in a bat total if it's an extended at bat. But he didn't seem very ready for it. So I figure what was the harm. But as we go, if there's one thing that I probably need to work on a little bit is I shouldn't start off the same batter with the same pitch. But now I know that he knows that I went slurve on the second pitch, so we're going to try to hit him with a sinker outside, which it wasn't a bad looking pitch. It just missed the zone, but I got to tell you, if there's one thing I don't enjoy about this game still this year is when you have perfect releases and they still. I know it's in the par, but it'd be nice if they actually went where you asked them to. It'd be a lot better. Anyway, so we're 2-2, and at this point, knowing that he didn't hit Trout's up and in sinker very well, I'm going to try to bust him in again, and he's not going to hit it. And I know it's kind of cheesy, but it's still kind of meta. And with the way this game works with its RNG, if they can't touch something, I don't really see the reason not to throw it. I don't think it's going to be a major staple for the entire game, but it's at least going to be to the point where I want him to really see that should have been a strike. And that hurts because now it's 2-0 and now I'm like, well, shit, what do I got to do? Right. I'm going to go back to that outside single because he didn't pick it last time and he just watched that other pitch. See, and I get him looking there, which is nice, right? Because he was not expecting it to be that. So I hook back over across the plate. Then we're going to go back to this cutter again, but it's another perfect release that doesn't land. And now we're 3-1. So yeah, it's back to the sinker because he can't hit it and he's not swinging. Or if he does swing, he's not hitting, I should say. And yeah, that should have been in the seats. That was a terrible pitch. It was a terrible pinpoint release, and that's the benefit of playing down here on the lower level. I really need to make sure I get my pinpoint skills better than what they are, because when I finally get up into the higher levels, then it's going to be a problem. With that said, that was another good timing that I just missed, and I just struck out with Euron Duran. So that sucked. My PCI was really bad on that one. I go through a stretch here where I can't hit him, and like I said, anybody who's watching, not everyone's going to be good every day. I can be streaky as hell. Either I'm going to hit everything, or I could potentially hit nothing, and whatever episodes I post, like I said, it's the reason why it's called Losing My Sanity, or Road to Losing My Sanity, because some days it's great, and then other days it's complete ass. So now he finally made contact with that pitch. And again, I probably shouldn't be throwing it every single time because there are going to be hitters that'll pick up on my tendencies, and that's something that I'll need to work on. Obviously, he made contact. It was what I wanted because it was still a lazy fly ball, but I think that's the second batter in a row that we actually went with the splitter first pitch too. Yeah, he's still hunting for the he's. It's funny because he's hunting for fast pitches, but he can't hit them when they're up in the zone, and then he's good timing when they're low in the zone, but then he doesn't have the PCI where it's supposed to be. And as you can see now, he's like way out in front. But I think he tags me here. He doesn't swing at this one. Let's see what happens, because I honestly don't remember. That's right. We go cutter outside, and I think no, he took that one too. But again, another perfect release. That's I know it's in the par, but it'd be nice if they at least tried to keep it more centered. Like it really should be where, and this is, I guess it's a nitpick because it's better than it was. Like that was a good swing by him. I mean, not really, but not terribly. I think he timed it up all right. He just probably didn't get enough on it, which I shouldn't be complaining about because if he gets any more on that ball, it's definitely more than just a crappy single through the right side. What I was about to say though was when it comes to when it comes to the par, instead of the ball only having to touch the par and then there's still half of it or three quarters of hanging outside, I think that it should be where the ball doesn't go any. Couldn't turn to. Like the outer half of the ball should touch the outer half of the PCI, and the rest of it should be somewhere within the PCI, if that makes sense. Like that, right there, just like that. As long as it's inside the circle, not this three quarters way hanging outside of the circle bullshit that they've been pulling for the last 2 years. And last year was the whole thing was outside of it, but as long as a piece was touching it by a quarter of an eighth of a 16th of an inch, yeah, that made a hell of a lot of sense. Anyway, let's see if we can't strike this fool out. And we get him swinging, which is nice. Again, this one's going to go back and forth. He didn't have the worst record, although he was still under 500. But like I said, it's the first time I've faced this Jack guy. And for whatever reason, even though I was picking up his fastball okay, and I couldn't get the PCI right today for this one. I guess it was because of as long as I was away for. Like the first two games I had recorded, they both were really quick, and it wasn't enough to get a whole gameplay in for you guys, and I didn't. I thought I murdered this thing, and somehow no. But it at least was a quality swing. It was at least a quality swing. So we're in the fourth, and I was just checking to see who the hell was out there because I really thought when I hit that ball it was going to be a double, but somehow it hung up long enough for him to run down, and it didn't make the wall. But yeah, we're gonna sit here and hack away with Babe. I think something happens relatively soon. Yep, I missed it again. So that's good timing, and again, I'm just under it. I'm trying to work through it. I guess what was I saying? So the first two games they were really short, as you saw. One was an inning, not even. It was a half an inning, and then 2 home runs, and the other one was I think two innings tops, just about, maybe about two. It wasn't a lot. So I went back to playing college football, and then I put this back on after probably another 4 days, and I could not find my swing. My BP warm up wasn't great. My timing was okay, but the PCI placement wasn't great. Unfortunately, it followed me into the game, which I kind of thought that it might, but I wasn't going to sit there for another 20 minutes and try to figure it out. I figured we would just figure it out in game and hope we survive long enough where I wasn't down by 3 or 4 runs trying to come back and put it all back together. Now, this guy's eye has gotten considerably better. I think because we're 44 pitches in, I've probably thrown a crap ton of balls outside of the strike zone. But, that one was a nice pitch. I got him looking on that one. The benefit, it depends who you play. If you play a guy who never swings at anything outside of the strike zone, then my pitching style doesn't really work well. You have to, at that point, just pitch to contact. And with certain guys, just pitching to contact is hard because in my experience from when I was up in the 800s, there are some freaking demons out here. But if you play guys that are like this or above this, but not demon level, then if they're swinging at stuff outside the strike zone and they start to lay off stuff outside the strike zone, that's fine because then you can still, fiddle around with the black and just inside the black and stuff that's moving like it's going to run outside, and they'll sit there and they'll look. I'm not going to say that I'm the best pitcher on earth, but as you can see, I'm not the greatest hitter on earth, and I definitely still get some wins in. Uh, but yeah, unfortunately, there's just not a lot of offense. He's starting to make some contact with that inside sinker now, at least with Trout anyway. But yeah, it's been a relatively quiet game so far on both ends. I think we've got like 8 strikeouts with Wheeler. We've done absolutely nothing on offense really to speak of whatsoever, except for Marte double and I think a Posada single earlier, and that was again a good timing swing with a really crappy PCI. I just off, that was the horrendous swing with lefties. I'm supposed to I try to go to left center unless the shift's on, and both of those batters, it didn't happen. I was so far out in front. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, no, I know what I'm thinking. It's the fifth inning. You should have already put up 5 runs at a minimum, and you've got zero. And I'm trying to make something happen, but instead of making anything happen, I'm just making his life easier, which is unfortunate because all it does is allow him to stick around even longer. Again, that should have been a strike. I hope next year they fix that shit. If they could fix that and get rid of sets and seasons, I'd be pretty happy. Um, I don't have a problem with the power creep so much. I'm just not we've talked about this at length on the channel. I'm not a giant fan of sets and seasons. Although I will say that the second half of season 2, because of the fact that they rapidly accelerated the power creep, it's been a little bit better. And again, he's starting to make contact with that sinker. I'm gonna have to make sure I pay attention to that, which I know I do, but um yeah. I know I've talked to you guys about this before, and some of you have responded, some of you haven't. But if you've had a change of heart on sets and seasons, and you think it's actually not as bad as what it seemed like, uh, as we've gotten through season 2, then by all means comment down below. If you still wish they get rid of it, comment down below. If you have any thoughts on how they could possibly improve it, consider commenting down below. I I don't particularly care for it. I don't like the fact that you spend money on cards, whether it be real life money or just in-game currency, and then you can't use a bunch of them. Like I completed the entire season 1 collection, the entire thing, and yeah, I can use my core cards and Babe's obviously my lineup, But then that was 401 cards, and I have no intention of ever using most of those cards again. But out of the 401 cards, there may be 30 cards that I wanted to try to use again, or maybe I wanted 8 of those cards in my lineup for season 2, and we only get 4, and it's kind of crappy just because, especially with the chase cards, what the cost of the cards are. But if I'm honest with you, you guys shouldn't be chasing any cards at all. Like I know we've talked about this, and I'm filling time right now because I'm striking this guy out left and right, but I'm still ain't hitting worth a shit. So, uh, yeah, the only chase cards you should probably even look to go after are going to be the guys that are the higher overalls, because I mean, if you look at like Christopher Morel right now, he's a 92, and when he came out, I think he was like between 80 and 100 grand. He's like 12,000 stubs right now, and he's 12,000 stubs within like 3 or 4 weeks of him dropping. I almost put that out with Duran. It was so damn close, And unfortunately, the good news with that one was I'm still early on the slider, but I'm not very early on the slider, which means I'm starting to settle in a little bit. And I at least saw that one better where I didn't rush it. Now that's a good swing with Jeter. It's squared up ball. It's one of the first ones I've squared up on the fastball. And I'm starting to feel decent here. I had that decent swing with Duran that we almost had to leave the park. I had a decent swing with him, even though I got out. And then we're a little on the inside of it and a little early, but Griffey's going to give us the lead with the 2-run jack. And it's been a long time coming because we've been putting at least somewhat decent timing swings on a whole bunch of balls, and now we're just on top of him. I mean, it's more likely than not that's more of a he probably missed his pinpoint if he's using pinpoint, and it could be a bit of a confidence home run as well, as it is the 6th inning. He is at 70 plus pitches, And yeah, that was a good at bat right there. Like I said, I feel like I'm finally starting to settle in there. I did manage to work a good walk. Unfortunately, the timing's good there on Jorge, but that damn PCI issue managed to show its face again. I feel like I probably could have put up so many more runs in this game, but unfortunately, I just couldn't get the PCI quite right. It didn't happen. Right now, we're sitting in a great spot with Zach. He's at 65 pitches in the sixth, and there's really been no real threats whatsoever in terms of anything. I don't think anybody's even got to second base yet. But I finally got a cutter to stay in the strike zone. And the nice thing is because I've been pitching it slightly outside the strike zone for almost the entire game, whether it be by choice or by RNG, he just watched that fall right in. That was really not supposed to be up there. I don't know why he took that. I I would have swung whether it had been a pop up or a home run. But yeah, that's a fucking strike. And again, I really wish that they would fix the umpiring because I don't I don't quite understand how that's 96% of the time a ball. Like I think we've only gotten two so far on the black hole strikes in the 3 games that we've had. So that's what 7, 9. It's like 9 or 10 innings so far. It's umpiring this game is brutal. For the most part, it seems like right now the foul balls have been down. I can't believe he's really trying to bunt. We're going to show him something different because I don't think I've thrown him a high fastball in forever. And he swung, which is nice. He's made my job relatively easy for the entire game. In fact, he's made my job easy enough that the guy that I'm going to bring in next year will be like, I can't believe you're bringing him in. But it seemed like the perfect opportunity because of the fact that it allowed me to rest my arms that I actually want for as long as I can. And again, that was a horrific swing. I just I don't know why. Like I'm fine, and then all of a sudden I'm not. See, that one wasn't bad because I timed that up well, and I even put the PCI mostly on it. But again, it's below the strike zone, and for some reason, I guess because he doesn't have bad ball quirk, it's only okay contact. Now Tatis is gonna be a single, which again that's early and good contact, but that's just barely in the strike zone. So I'm assuming that's why. And then he goes and throws the ball away, trying to help me out, which I don't quite know what he was doing. Unfortunately, I don't think we capitalize here. I swing at the first pitch. I'm just late, and well, there's that. The good news is I started to go to left center or center field ish. The bad news is that well, I didn't drive in a run, and even if there was only one out, it was not deep enough anyway. I don't think. So at this point, we're switching over to Jesse Chavez. I'm not sure if it's the best idea because he throws relatively the same pitches as Wheeler, although he does have this beautiful sweeping curveball, which I actually like this year. I have to see how it goes as we get further up, but I've done well with it in ranked. I've done well with it in BR. I've done well with it in events. Although admittedly, I haven't played nearly as many events this year as I did in years past. I like the shorter events that they have, but they only require the 10 wins. But they've kind of made it to the point where there's no reason to go crazy trying to get a whole bunch of cards. It has to be someone that you really, 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 really want, or because of the amount of stubs I made this year, I'm just going to go do something else and I'll buy the card if I want it, if I'm honest. And it's not like I'm high rolling and I don't spend money on the game. I buy the game itself. I buy the deluxe edition, and then we do a little bit for opening night just to open some packs because it's something that we do. But other than that, there's no money spent on this game. It's launch night and that's it. And then we work the market, we work the investments, and we see where we finish up. With that said, we're heading into the 8th inning, and I'm on good timing again on his fastball, but I'm still having issues, which is annoying, but I guess it is what it is. All right. Well, the eighth inning resulted in absolutely nothing, which is unfortunate. I'm bringing in Kirby Yates, who I know I just talked crap about earlier in the video. Although through the first 7 innings, I feel comfortable enough bringing him in where I still have Duran in my bullpen if I need him, and I still have all of my lefties, which consist of Andrew Miller, Aroldis Chapman, I want to say Tanner Scott, and Matt Strom. So I've got a guy who throws gas. I've got a guy who throws a bunch of movement. I've got a guy who throws movement but only throws 3 pitches. Uh, I'm feeling pretty good where we are. I can't believe he took that, but I kind of thought that he would just because of the fact that I've been just abusing the outside corner. And yeah, unfortunately, I won't say unfortunately because I'm never going to complain about a game where you kind of get to go in robot. I don't want to say robot mode when you're pitching, but it's kind of like bam, give me the ball, bam, give me the ball, bam, give me the ball, and you're just picking and you're throwing and everything's either working or you're setting up your next pitch. And I'm not I'm not sitting here like I don't know what to throw. So if the commentary is getting a little bit stale about the pitching, I apologize. In case you guys haven't figured it out yet, I've got a pretty decent way of where I'm going with just about all my pitches at this point. I've switched it up where I'm not so much high and outside anymore to the lefties. I'm jamming them in to start and then working my way back out and then trying to generate swings that are low and away. The righties haven't changed so much because they haven't had to. That was another perfect release that I couldn't get in the strike zone, which is unfortunate. But I'm not taking Kirby out at this point. I mean, I probably could have, probably should have, but I figured let him finish it out. And he did not. He did not want that splitter all game. It didn't matter who it was. And then he swings one. So I take it back. Um, but that's what. Yeah, he did not. So the thing with those high fastballs, it has to be within like 3 inches, which gets a little tricky because the good players will still be able to get to it. Um, but when they're up that high, there's probably nobody swinging at it, honestly. But we've got a one hitter through 8, and he's still got Drew Pomeranz on the mound, which is not great for me. I've got Chapman up in the bullpen already, and I think we decided to warm up Andrew Miller, which I don't know why I'm warming up 2 lefties. I think I warmed up both the lefties. I couldn't decide who I wanted to go with. Although at that point, I think I made the decision that I was going to keep Yates in until it was time. And I finally timed up something that was, yeah, he missed that, but he's trying to bait me. I'm not going anywhere. I finally timed up something that was away from a lefty, which was nice. And then I'm debating on pinch running for Babe Ruth, and I'm like, well, I could, but I'm probably not going to. And then I'm looking at who I have available to play first base, and I realize that the catcher can, but then I'm just like, nah, the hell with it. So Jorge's up, and for whatever reason, I love Jorge. I'm a Yankee fan. Once they get enough Yankee cards out, and I know there's already a shit ton of Yankee cards out, but once they get enough Yankee cards out, I'll probably be running a Yankee theme team. I really thought that ball was going to drop. Like I really did. Like that was a good swing, and I got nothing for it. Absolutely nothing for it, which was so disappointing. I could have sent it up a little bit better, but I really thought it was going to be okay. And then this one again, I'm good timing, but my PCI is just a little off. The whole damn game, just a little off. The good news is that we've been pitching well enough to keep him at bay. But now here's Hank Thompson, and I've squared that up pretty good, but I still don't understand how it's an early swing and it goes, and my good timing swings don't. But I'm not going to complain. Hank was in a bit of a rut for this game. He started off batting 611. He's definitely not now, but God, that man's a good hitter. I really, really enjoy hitting with his card. And Tatis has the second hit of the game. That's the second time now that we've teed up that knuckle curve that he throws, which is nice because, like I said, I'm starting to see, and it really doesn't matter. Like this one, I really wish he didn't. If he hadn't tapped that, then Tatis is probably on third. I might even consider sending him home, but unfortunately, we got pitcher rolled. So here we go. We're up 5, top of the ninth, and yeah, if I didn't say it already, I decided to leave Yates in. I'm like, you know what? Why the hell not? I would prefer to keep the rest of my bullpen intact. He's still only in the yellow, and I go to throw him a splitter, and this guy just tattoos it into it. I mean, done, gone. At some point, I was bound to get tagged. I've been I've been changing speeds and messing with him in zones all night. So it is what it is. Uh, you know, I wasn't expecting. One thing that you should probably expect when you play this game is don't expect a shutout. There, whether it be RNG or just the people you run into, getting shutouts in this game is very, very, very difficult. It's not something that happens frequently that I know of. Um, but yeah, it would have been nice to have one. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be. So now I'm considering my options, and Kirby's in the red, and we're still getting perfect releases with balls that won't find the strike zone. And yeah, I'm regretting the decision right now because I've played enough games where the ninth inning always gets a little wonky. That's just another perfect release and a walk. So at this point, I can't remember if I keep him in. No, yeah, his day's done. We're uh we're going to Chappie, and we'll see how it goes because he hasn't seen speed yet. And the last couple of guys that I brought in have definitely been throwing on the slower side. But he's only just laid on that first fastball, and now it's got me wondering, well, how late is he going to be? And then he lays off the slider, which is unfortunate. I can't throw his slider to save my life for some reason. It always comes in yellow. But for whatever reason, his fastball isn't as wild as what I thought it would be. And his changeup isn't overly difficult to throw. So we get Trey with the first out, which is nice because I had to get somebody out. I couldn't get to first and second with nobody out. First and second with nobody out is problematic. And now he's fastball hunting because I threw fastball in the first to his first batter, and now he's just expecting it, still expecting it. Clearly, he was so far out in front, he probably could have swung twice in that one. Yeah, just the whole at bat, fastball hunting. So now I know that, but now I'm thinking to myself, well, he's probably going to take one, or I can jam him up with it. Let's see if we can't get inside. And that one somehow he doesn't swing at, probably because it was just a little too far inside. But and then I hit him. Because in typical Chapman form in the ninth inning, God forbid anything was ever easy. But it's okay, because we're still up 4, and even if it's a home run, the tying run's in the on deck circle, and I'm not overly concerned yet. I'm slightly concerned, just because there's no reason why that ever really should have hit him. But yeah, he's starting to lay off some pitches, which is kind of annoying. And then we're throwing balls down the dick that should be in the seats, especially when he has good timing. And I don't, like I said, pinpoint. That should have been deposited in left field bleachers as well. I'm catching a bit of a break here, which is good. And then he goes and swings at that to close out the game, which thank God, because I really didn't want to have to go to another bullpen arm, and I needed to probably. No, that would have been his last batter. If he didn't get him out, we were going to wind up switching batters. So Wheeler gets the win, 1 hit and 12 strikeouts over 6. Marte had a good game. Everybody else was 1 for 4 or 1 for 3, and Griffey and Hank both hit home runs. We're up to 516. And again, we find a game relatively quickly. So for our next opponent, it's going to be Jack Caglione again. I don't think I've actually said his last name correct either time so far, but until I actually learn to hit the man, I don't know if I give a crap. And I'm not overly excited because last game didn't go great against him, and now we're playing at Shieldwoods, which I can't stand. Shieldwoods and Capital Lang have no place in this game, considering that they nerf ship it into the ground. Now, lucky for me, the guy's record's 107, 103, and 167, which isn't great. Jeter leads us off with a hit. You're not going to see me try to steal second with him, but unfortunately I get gunned out. With that said, he tried to throw a high changeup, and Griffey nicely deposited in the seats, 506 feet. We're in the third inning, and he tries to throw a slider up in the middle of the plate, which I'm sure probably wasn't supposed to go there, but we hit that one about 460 feet. And then he tried to throw a cutter low and away, which still caught too much of the zone, and we're gone. So that's the start of the road to insanity. Um, yeah, it's like I said, the early games I don't envision being a problem. I would expect that once we get into the 600s, I would think, as I'm probably going to jinx myself, that after we get into the 600s and higher, that it's going to pick up, and it'll get more interesting. Uh, if you like this, please by all means let me know down below. I know it's a long video. It really wasn't supposed to be a long video, but with the season turnaround coming on Friday, I wound up putting all 3 videos or all 4 games, excuse me, into the one, because I'm not probably going to record another one before Friday. So I at least wanted to get this one out there, and then once Friday comes, we'll knock out Team Affinity quick. Make sure you have your 74s for your exchanges. Please do not use the whatever cards we may get from Team Affinity for exchanges if they give you any, and don't go play the Conquest map and then use those for exchanges. You should just quick sell those and still buy 74s. It's cheaper. Got to throw in a little coin tip here or there, right? So, but yeah, if you like this type of gameplay where we try to cut it shorter and just show the quality part of the at-bats, whether they're good or bad quality, and go through the pitching, and then we just do a voiceover, we can do that. If you would like me to go like during gameplay, I could try that. I've never done that before. That would definitely be a longer video because of the fact that these games take 40 plus minutes a piece when they're full games. But by all means, comment down below. Let me know what you'd prefer. I'm hoping that as we get further into it, that it'll be a little bit more interesting. And when I say a little bit more interesting, I don't need 12 to 11 ball games going into the 9th inning. Well, I mean, I guess that would be the definition of insanity, wouldn't it? But yeah, if you made it this far, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, clicking the notification bell. It helps us defeat the algorithm. And until next time, I appreciate the time. You have a good one.